What's going on, guys? Welcome to Scalers Only, where we talk real estate, business, lifestyle, and everything in between. Today, I got my man Ginson Speich, but it's with a CH. This guy is like, it's kind of like Mr. Columbus on the realtor
legend,
side.
man. He's a local
Realtors
legend.
aren't dead, by the way. They're not dead.
Oh, dude, when we said realtors was dead, he called me and said, unless you put me on the show, you're dead. So that's why you're on the show.
I did not say that.
So he's a member of YPN, Columbus Realtors Standard Forms Committee, the Columbus MLS Committee, the Keller Williams Associate Leadership Committee, and Technology Chair. He's on the Columbus Realtors Business Technology Forum, as well as the president of the Gahanna Area Realtor Association.
Dude, you're like the Illuminati.
I don't know. I don't know how I got so involved. I think I drank too much. And
That's one thing you and Terry have in common. That's your networking tool right there, your resource.
You just networked your way to the top. But I want to jump right into it, man. So one of the things that you're doing right now as we date this podcast on 12/13 of 23, you've been like immersing yourself in these novations. Like, I wouldn't call you the novation king yet, maybe.
Nope.
Maybe
The queen.
Prince.
Prince. My bad. That's what I meant.
What got you into the novation world and just learning that whole side of the business?
By accident, really. 2021, most agents were having the best year of their life, and I actually was having the worst. And it wasn't for a lack of showing up. It was just, a lot of agents will take market conditions. Like I predict in the next 6 months, we're going to see a lot of agents get out of the business just because it's gotten hard.
Going back to bartending?
I've seen agents go back to bartending. They're getting jobs and getting out. And, of course, dues are coming due in the next couple weeks. So, if you're not selling anything, $1,200, $1,300, with no income coming in will hurt.
If you're not making at least $1,300 in a year off selling real estate, you probably shouldn't be in it anyways.
No, there's a lot of people that shouldn't be in this business, but our barrier of entry is very, 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 very low.
What do you think of that?
I mean, it is what it is. If it wasn't that low, I probably wouldn't be here. So I think it's really more so who can stay in. And one thing that I tell newer agents is just show up and don't quit, and you can win, but I don't know.
Novations.
The novation was something my good friend Jennifer McIntyre is my title girl, and she was the one that kind of walked me through, hey, this is what I started doing with a lot of our investors and wholesalers. And through her, I learned, and then through doing, learned even more, learned what not to do.
Yeah, you kind of got in a little gray area with your broker, didn't you, at one point?
Well,
Which you're not doing anything illegal.
And novating is not wholesaling. Let's make that 100% clear. But a lot of wholesalers and brokers think they're one and the same, and they're not.
What's the difference?
The difference is,
for those that don't know.
Well, wholesaling is an assignment of contract. Novation is an agreement between the investor and the seller for the investor to kind of take the reins of the contract of the deal and go, okay, you can't cover your mortgage. I'll cover your mortgage. I'll hire an agent. I'll take on the responsibility of paying the agents, paying, the closing costs, I'm going to get this to the closing table for you because you don't have the ability to do it. And you have that buy and sale agreement with them, and you go, as soon as I get this done, you're going to get your money. If your house needs paint, carpet, all of these things, and you don't have the ability to do it.
So would you say the easiest way for those that don't do novations, would you say the easiest way to explain it is if you're wholesaling, you're getting your cash today, right, from the seller's point of view. But if you're novating, they're going to participate as a partner in the upside with you to some degree.
Not really. No, the difference is that when you enter into a buy and sale agreement as a wholesale, you're entering into that agreement, and then you're shopping the contract.
Okay.
When you're doing novation, you have that same agreement, but rather than shopping the contract, you're putting it on the MLS and you're opening it up to the world. Whereas, wholesaling, you, not as a licensed agent, can't say, hey, I've got this great house at 123 Main Street in Worthington for sale. You can't say that. You have to say contract for sale, or you have to be super vague about it. DM me for details and photos. Whereas in a novation, you're listing it with an agent, you're putting it out to the entire world. So, if you go fishing, if you fish with one line, you catch one fish. But if you fish with 6 lines in the water, you've got the ability to catch a bigger fish. And you're putting,
You just got to be able to man all the poles.
That's right. Well, and that's where you use an agent to man the pole.
Why did you go into
Realtors are dead.
what made you shift into innovations though? Like, what did you notice?
Well, I mean, it's not my own. It's just another stream of my business. It's not all that I do. I think it's interesting, and I feel like I'm one of the first ones there. I'm a pioneer, so that's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning, what to do, what not to do.
So, the people that say realtors are dead, why do you think they're not dead? I mean, obviously you're alive and sitting here and thriving.
I don't know who says realtors are dead, Bobby.
I heard someone say realtors are dead. I mean, did you hear that too before? Someone said
You
that.
know what, man? I've never heard that in my life.
You all football, what the heck?
No, it's a very unique time where, it's real estate's always slow to happen, as opposed to any other industry. It's kind of a slow burn up and it's a slow burn down. But you had this rise up since COVID, where you've had investors coming in, gurus popping out of the woodwork. Everyone's involved in real estate, and people want to be a part of it. And you can't fault them for that. But like you said earlier, you have to never quit, and you just got to show up, right? And then when people know that about you, like, oh well, they've survived. Okay, now I actually want to be associated with them, do business with them. But at one point, there was more, at least in our market, there was more realtors than there were houses for sale. I think by a factor of maybe like 10 or 20 to 1.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What if every one of them still kept showing up?
But they don't. That's the thing.
You can't.
It's the 80-20 rule, and I don't even know if it's the 80-20 rule. It might be 90-10 really, in reality. But the agents that do business know the other agents that do business, and you brought me on and kind of listed all of the groups that I'm in. That's been a great avenue for me to network myself with the agents that are doing business.
Yeah.
Not to say that there aren't a lot of baller agents that don't have time to be on committees, because it is time consuming. But I just was elected to a 3-year term on the MLS committee.
Wow.
And with everybody, kind of attacking the MLS, and with realtor commissions in the hanging in the balance. I mean, Bobby sent me some funny memes on Instagram, like, hey, I don't have to pay you anymore, right? It's there's a lot of confusion, and so I currently belong to 4 MLSs. I'm 3 C's in a D: Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton. And the reason I'm in all of those markets is to help my investor clients be able to list properties in other markets. And I'm learning, what's going on in different markets and how does that relate to Columbus. And then I want to take that information back to this committee and go, hey, Dayton's doing this great, and we should take this on. Or, Cincinnati just got hacked. I don't know if you're aware of that. A few months back, Cincinnati's MLS was hacked by ransomware and shut them down for
The entire MLS?
the entire MLS for
Wow.
like several weeks. And
Wow.
they shifted to a different server, and like there were days to a week plus. I'm not exactly sure, because I was listing my Cincinnati listings in Columbus, And then through syndication, it was getting on Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. And so people were calling me like, oh, you have a like, how did you get that on? I'm like, well, I belong to Columbus. And so I just put it on Columbus.
That's actually really smart.
But like, what happens if the Columbus MLS gets hacked? Like, is anyone asking these questions? So
I think the whole stuff's outdated too.
well,
It's old school technology, old school stuff. And have they been working on stuff to protect it from there?
I don't know. That's why I want a seat in the room.
Yeah.
So now I have a seat in the room, and so that's one of the reasons I'm on that committee. So
You touched on something. What are your thoughts on the whole lawsuit against the buyer-seller commissions? I mean, what's that do to the industry if that spreads across America?
nothing right now.
It takes a while anyways, but in the future...
Everything takes a while. There's an appeal process that's already happening, but the market will tell us who's right and who's wrong every time. If you price a house too high, it doesn't sell. The market told you.
Yeah.
You price it too low, you have a million offers. And it brings it up to where somebody's willing to pay it. So if you're not offering buyer commissions, your house might not sell.
Yeah.
But if your house is Pottery Barn perfect and it's priced right, it's going to sell without a buyer's agent. So the market will tell you in every situation. Now, we're in what I feel like is a very balanced market right now, where sellers are drunk on multiple offers and they're still in a hangover, and they haven't figured out that people aren't banging their door down
And there's like a million funds trying to buy their house right now.
well, and buyers and right, and the institutional buyers have gone away. They packed up and left, and then the buyers, they've got time to sleep on it. They can ask for inspections now. They can ask for remedies now. They have a lot more power, but also the interest rates are higher, so they're paying a lot more. So we've got right now a more balanced market, but like we were talking about off air a couple of minutes ago, I've seen in the last week to 9 days an uptick in activity, and I feel that we're coming back. And if it's a week and a half from Christmas and we're seeing this much activity, people are going to be
January.
people are going to be fist fighting in the driveway again.
Yeah.
You're not going to be alone at a showing. There's going to be 4 agents and 4 buyers. So that being said, if you've got a great listing and you don't want to offer a buyer co-op, there is no standard commission. I mean, that's the shitty part of being a realtor is, you don't get paid if you don't sell something, right? So,
Would you sell my properties, please?
I'm trying.
You know what? Showings have turned up in the last couple of weeks, though, finally.
I-
Interest comes down. That's crazy how, interest rates seriously have affected so much, because literally before the prior 2 weeks, there was chirps. And you called this. You said, hey, just so you know, the houses you have on the market coming up, it's going to be a little slower than what you're used to.
Yeah, I mean, the stock market goes up, bond yields fall, right? And then as soon as that, the mortgage rates fall, and once we hit 8%, I mean, it was
Everything
dead.
stopped to
Now,
its seized.
now we're down to
Or 7.1,
effectively,
7.2.
Yep.
low sevens. I mean, one of my very first rental properties I bought, I was at 6.75% on a portfolio loan on 20 years, and I was thrilled to get it. Thrilled. And everyone listening is going to be like, oh, well, you probably bought that house and it was 60 grand. Yeah, but the rent was also $750 a month, right?
For a 60
And
grand
I had
home.
to
Come on.
rehab it, So I think the thing that we don't all realize is things, again, the pendulum swings, right? But
That's right.
eventually it does balance itself out over time, right? I guess next question for you, man. What do you see as because real estate's changing so fast. We've been the most archaic industry forever. Now there's we're talking about AI. We're talking about, someone wants to get to a rental property. I mean, we don't have to have people meet them. We don't have to have people
Oh, lock boxes,
What are some of
Wi-Fi.
the things, I guess, in the future that like you see as the future of the agent, and do you feel like that's going to go away? Do you feel like it's going to be survival of the fittest, or do you feel like technology is just going to enhance the good ones? Like, where do you feel like the future is?
Well, technology increases the speed at which we can transact. The human factor is still a huge part of the business. The buyers don't know what they don't know, and they need a guide. They need a real estate Sherpa to guide them through the transaction. That's not going to be taken away by technology.
I think those AI robots can't talk to someone, talk them through it.
No,
I heard some of those voice calls, man. They make you sound like whoever they want to sound like.
no, that's true.
I want to have Snoop Dogg as my agent.
I know, right?
Right.
Yo, Dizzle. Sell us Hizzle.
Hey, you buy this Hizzle.
Yeah. So
Right, Hizzle.
I don't think that the technology is going to take anything away from us. It's going to speed up, and it may weed out some of the older agents that are not willing to adapt.
Or the bartenders that don't do anything.
That's true. Well, they were just never going to.
Ginson knows how to pick up a phone call, so I can. You can agree.
But what I will say is that, where was I going with this?
Speed, technology.
Yeah. This is embarrassing. Brain freeze.
I didn't even give you ice cream yet.
No, I'm lactose intolerant.
I mean, yeah, we'll weed out a lot of people. Survival of the fittest. Some will stay. The old people will go. The good ones will stay. But I think whoever adapts to technology and knows how to use it is going to become stronger and better and bigger anyways.
Well,
isn't that how it's supposed to work?
The next point I was going to make was going back to the Sitzer Burnett case and all of that, is that as realtors, as agents, as long as we belong to the National Association of Realtors, there's a lot of rules that are put on us. You know, you're saying that that technology can just pick up the phone and unlock a lockbox. Well, that's against our code of ethics. That's against everything that the National Association of Realtors stands for. Like, you as an agent have to be present. You will get your ass fined off if you give a client a lockbox code and let them go unaccompanied into somebody else's property. And I think that that's good. I think that that's, you know, do you want, you know, some randoms walking through your property that you're trying to sell?
Yeah.
You know? So there needs to be a level of accountability for, you know, for a real estate transaction. Otherwise, it's, you know, we're setting up ourselves up for all kinds of problems. A buyer has access to the lockbox code, and, you know, I'm not saying that this would
Party on
happen.
Hiawatha, let's go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
No,
like, now you've got squatters. Now you've got squatters in your house.
And we've
like,
had it happen. I mean, we're much more on the rental scale, but or rental side, I should say. But like, you even in I mean, we invest a lot of B-class neighborhoods. You have your A, B, C, and D. We're in very B-class neighborhoods, and even some, like, when we tried that self-showing stuff. This was like 3 years ago, before the economy was getting bad.
Oh, the self-showing days.
Like, it was not good. I mean, we had one person that like wouldn't let the next person in. Then we had to call cops to get him out.
They shorted himself and never left.
Another person tried to stay the whole night. Luckily, because it was within 24 hours, we were able to say that they were a burglar instead of a squatter. Thank God. But if we didn't catch them within 24 hours, like, now they have squatters' rights. Now we're taking 4 months to get them out.
right.
So,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you need the real estate industry, and we do need some semblance of rules. I don't agree with all of the rules, but, you know, that's why I've gotten involved in committees and gotten involved with the board, so that
trying
I
to
can,
get a seat at the table.
that's
Figure out what
that's
the hell's
exactly
going on.
that's exactly right. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna sit back and bitch and not get involved and try to create change, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I like.
Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah, fuck yeah. So what are some changes you would like to see go into effect?
I would like to see a repeal of clear cooperation.
What is that?
Clear cooperation states that within one business day of signing a listing agreement, that I have to have a sign in the yard and my property listed on the MLS.
Yep.
Excuse me, either coming soon or active. Well, you might be thinking about selling your property, and I tell you, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do the other thing. And you're like, okay, well, cool. Well, I don't want to give you time to think about, hiring your cousin Eddie who just got his real estate license when I just told you everything you need to do to get this house, show ready. I want you to sign. I mean, you know sales, you get them signed before you leave the table,
you
right?
just got to lean on that pin.
Right, but
Lean on that pin,
technically,
baby.
if I press hard 3 copies, I just dated myself. You get it signed. Then
We used to do that back in the fitness industry. We had these old school contracts,
3-part NCR.
That's right. You had the credit card swiper. This is like 08, 09.
Yeah. So, but if I get you to sign on the dotted line, according to NAR, I have to have that, and like, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Right.
So that sucks. And the other thing is my fiduciary duty to you as your advocate is to get your property sold in the manner in which you want it sold and for the price that you want. Well, if I can shop it to my network of people that may or may not be in my office or whatever, and just say, hey, listen, we're not on the market yet. My client wants this. If they don't have to come in and do paint, carpet, and stage and do all that and spend all this money, they would accept this. Okay, well, can we take a look at it? Yeah. Well, I can't technically show that now. I have to show it to everybody at the exact same time. And the reason for that rule is because they're claiming that, we're not being fair to everyone, that, an agent in Hilliard doesn't have the same access that an agent in Blacklick or Gahanna has because, I'm the president of the Gahanna Area Association, and all the agents that came to my meeting, and I'm like, hey, I've got a listing coming on next week. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage on Banana Street. Like,
We have a property on Banana Street, don't we?
I think it was orange.
Apple. Apple Street.
You guys say banana?
Oh, orange banana apple? Keep going, sorry.
Dude, you got ADDS.
What?
Besides that, what
Squirrel.
else? Besides that, what else do you think's got to change?
Man,
What would you see? I guess what would you like to see? Because for me, from an investor standpoint, I look at, and I am a realtor. I don't remember last time I sold anything.
You haven't paid
But-
your dues.
No, I pay my dues.
This year you paid your due?
I always debate like letting it lapse. And then I'm like, damn it, what if I?
You just don't want to take the test again. You don't want to take the test again.
I don't want to take it again.
So
It's terrible.
So I mean, you fall into the 80 of the 80-20 rule. Just like we were saying. Well, there's 10,000 agents. Well, you're one of the ones that has
true,
the
too.
active license that you're not using
I
it.
need to let it lapse.
No, we might need it one day.
I mean, look, there's a ton of agents that just maybe they got it because they're an investor and they want to do 1 or 2 flips a year and they don't want to pay an agent, so they list it themselves. Yeah,
Why can't investors and agents get along?
So, all right.
I get along with investors great.
let me add to that, because with wholesaling, the amount of people that are going direct to seller now, and they're trying to cut out all of the fees and costs associated with listing and buying a property. There has to be something that happens, because it's like the wild west still, but the over regulation is not helping either. So it's like trying to strike that middle balance, that middle ground between, okay, if someone's going to spend, at one point we were spending $50,000 a month to find discounted properties. Like, I should be rewarded, like a car dealer. If I'm being on TV, being on radio, I should be rewarded for my advertising costs, right? At least I think I should. And I should be able to go direct to seller. But at the same time, you have Joe Schmo over here who's doing it unethically, illegally, and making them lean on that pin. And the lady's 87 years old. You have that going on too. So it's like, I don't know where the balance strikes, but I think there has to be some type of balance in the investor world, but also too in the agent world, because you can say it's all realtors are ethical and all wholesalers.
No, they're not, and neither are. But the problem is, and I'm in this year's Leadership Academy, and I've had a chance to speak to the attorneys at the division and at Ohio Realtors, and everyone thinks that wholesalers are bad.
Yeah,
Wholesaling is bad, and it's not, and they want to. There
are a lot of bad ones.
Well,
that
there
give
are.
people bad
There
name.
are, and they want to regulate wholesaling the same way they regulate realtors, and not all realtors are good and ethical as well. And so,
Are you?
what?
I'm just
Good?
kidding. Yeah,
We're
totally kidding.
ethical.
Oh yeah, ethical. I'm totally joking.
Adding to that, do you feel like there is a like, not just saying wholesaling, but acquiring properties at a discount? Like if you go to double close, or if
I think that you answered your own question.
okay.
So I think the
they're
answer.
not pissed off if you double close.
You can't be pissed off if you double
They're
close.
pissed off that you go and sign contracts.
That's correct.
That to piggyback, like
Well,
with the-
I mean, they're pissed in general because they just think you're ripping people off.
Yeah.
But wholesaling is not illegal. You know.
Yeah.
Like if you want to sell me that pen for whatever you want to sell me that pen, you and I can do a transaction right now, and you can sell me that pen.
That's fair. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
without a license to sell a pen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have to have the money to buy that pen.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't have the money to buy that pen.
what was that?
And I just say, well, I'm going to give you the money for this pen, and I assign it to Bobby. And I don't actually have the money for this pen. That's where the nefarious, you know,
So if you double close, I mean, it's like, who cares?
they can't stop it.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically like a car dealer getting their cars from the open market. Hey, we're buying cars right now. You know, we're fiscally, and they have to fiscally buy them.
People are with luxury cars now. That's why luxury cars pre-owned are like 50,000 over sticker,
Oh, yeah.
right? But we went to the conference last week in Arizona.
The international
Yeah.
family rental conference.
And these people, we met these Israelis and these like tech companies coming in, and like, what was the one of them? It was like a black market MLS. I forget what company.
I mean, that's what I call it the black market.
Yeah, that's what you called it. It's not really a black market
So-
MLS, but that's what they called it. But
I
these
mean, we
companies are coming out now.
List of properties. This is a golden nugget too for the real estate people that are watching. We keep a list of every wholesaler, every wholesale deal, and when that deal needs to close. So then that way we could go to said wholesaler, be like, hey, notice you haven't closed this deal yet. You know, we'd like to offer you X. But it's kind of like the black market of the MLS. It really is. And now there's a company that's actually designing this black market.
A list online,
Almost like this Silk Road of real estate, you know?
and you literally go on there and search for
Silk Road's a bad analogy, but like
probably, but they have this where any wholesale can go and list up their properties like the MLS, and it's a database for everyone to go look at and buyers to find properties and for the wholesalers.
Well, before I started getting involved with investors, I mean, I got half as many emails. Now I have every wholesale investment I mean, my email is just like ridiculous.
That's also
because-
your strength. You know how to adapt and you use both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying a $24,000 property in Marion. But,
we are,
but
though.
I see it.
But we are. If you're watching this and you have one,
Yeah.
let us know.
Send the deals. Always buying.
So
Cash, 24 to 48 hours.
614-655 sell. It just rolls.
We've never practiced that before.
But yeah, I mean, like, you're exactly right, and that's where technology can come in and change the game, you know. But it's not going to. Your world is unlikely to intersect with 2.5 in a minivan.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So AI, help your industry or hurt your industry?
I think it helps. But that's because I embrace. You
We
know.
almost have to admit.
Yeah.
You know, whatever changes are going to happen, they're going to happen. And I think throughout history, like, you know, if you look, you ever seen, what's that show? It's America's Titans or Titans of Industry.
You just want to say Titan.
That's my son's name. But you like one of the episodes was about Carnegie was not the railroad king, but he worked for the railroads that discovered steel and then did that whole thing. But the railroads were trying to negotiate with Rockefeller, and then once Rockefeller was like, you know what, I'm just going to build a pipeline, and then and they didn't know what to do. And then the middle that's kind of died off. It's like, we see this stuff happen time and time again. So I'm always trying to be on the forefront of what's going to be next, what's going to happen, how do we adapt, how do we get better, and, how do we become the future of real estate?
Develop, build.
Build to rent was a big thing at the conference too.
That was a huge thing.
Build to rent.
If you build it, they will come. Right now with.
You think so? Like I think it's where you are though. I'm gonna build a spot in the middle of Idaho. No one's coming.
Oh no, I'm here, in Columbus, Ohio.
But it's also a regional
right now.
thing,
We've got huge job growth.
Pick the place and build. There you go. Pick the right place.
So for here, for instance, build it and then they come. Your top 5 reasons why Columbus, Ohio, you believe in it and why it's one of the hottest markets in the country. You know what number 1 is.
Intel.
I was thinking Wendy's because those are...
No, I mean, you've got Intel, you've got Honda, you've got Google, you have Facebook, we have huge job growth, and the data centers that are investing here, they don't create a ton of jobs, but Intel is going to, and the ancillary growth around Intel is huge. I mean, you could start a food truck and drive it to Intel every day and sell out every day for the rest of your life.
You get a
For
pen.
the rest-
Write down food truck as our next acquisition.
for the rest of your life. There's going to be dog groomers. There's going to be barbers. They're going to everything.
Gyms. We have gyms.
Everything.
Gyms, Terry?
Everything.
JIM.
We're saying Intel, but what comes with that is all the restaurants, the grocery stores. So
Do you foresee those people living here, or do you foresee that living it downtown and wanting to commute? Do you foresee them just being a part of the suburb communities?
depends on their age.
This?
Depends on their age. Every age depicts where you live. In my 20s, I moved to Chicago. I lived there for 20 years. I fucking loved it. When I was 30-something and my son was born in Chicago, it changed Chicago. I now can't live in Chicago because I can't afford, private school in Chicago. It's not as much fun because I can't just go, hey, why don't you, to my wife, I can't say, hey, meet me at X bar when you get off work. I'm going to be there. It changes your life. So now we moved back to Columbus. And then Columbus, we were like, well, we still want to kind of have a little bit of city life. So we want to live in German Village. We don't have to live in Victorian Village.
Give options.
Yeah, but then we're like, and then we ended up buying a house in Reynoldsburg that was more house than we ever thought we could afford, but because of location, we were able to afford. Well, we lived there for 6 or 7 years. It doubled in value. Sold that. Interest rates were low. Went and bought in Jefferson Country Club, where I never thought I could afford, and now we live there, and we love that. So
Do your neighbors love you though?
oh my neighbors love me.
He's actually got a really
You know Metalka?
three doors
three
doors down from him.
five or 6 doors down from me. Yeah, no, of course.
I was about to ask.
He needs to slow down.
All right, so besides that, that's one good reason.
That Maserati goes down the street a little too fast.
What's
He's a little too quick.
what's 4 more reasons that Columbus, Ohio is a good market besides the business and the
I mean, that's it. I mean,
No, see, Terry always talks about this, and when he goes on things, and I bust his balls too. He'll joke around about, Columbus, making jokes about it. But I'm like, dude, we have so much great stuff, though. Someone asked me what are 5 top reasons. I'll list 100.
Yeah.
Number 1, business. Big money's coming here. Follow the big number. Number 2, we are still very affordable. We never took that huge boom. We've been
not
stable
hit-
and affordable. That's been our
we
strong
have not
point.
had that, and that's what is mind-boggling to me is we haven't. If you look at Phoenix, okay, or Austin, okay, prime example, Orlando, Tampa.
We're humble. Columbus is humble.
They had this hockey stick run up of appreciation. We haven't seen it yet.
well,
Nothing-
what have you been to Austin recently?
Yeah, we were there remember stupid guy over here to my right's like,
I
let's
mean-
take these scooters in the heat to the one block. It was like a hairdryer blowing in your face.
Yeah, well,
They had good barbecue though.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, oh my God,
but
barbecue
I
has
hope
some.
you didn't hit any homeless people on the way from one place to the other because they were everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's
You know,
different.
like, and that's the problem with that hockey stick, and that's a problem that we're having in Columbus as well. And you're asking me the positive things. But Austin's nuts. Austin's insane with the amount of, people that are displaced.
yes. Again, we're affordable.
Unhoused, I think, is the politically correct way
Yeah.
to say
I
it.
mean, we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of options. You can still get good affordability. Another reason, dude, we're centrally located. We have all 4 seasons. You can fly anywhere in America you want within 3.5, 4 hours from over here. We have we actually got ranked one of the top restaurant foodie things in the world now, like competing with like Thailand, this and that. One of the best, like,
We're the test market for food.
yeah, we're a test market for food. There's so many reasons, so much stuff, and we're actually an
so
untapped
fat.
market.
We are
I hate
so-
talking about
we're
it because I don't
so
want other people to
fucking
come in
fat.
here and start investing.
At the same time,
We-
I embrace it both.
But like,
we are fat, and we have the Arnold.
I do. Like I
Arnold party, by the way, shameless plug, coming up after. It's going to be great at the
Pros Gym. That will be directly after the Arnold Classic, Friday and Saturday at the Pros Gym, the unofficial.
And we will edit in an ad right here for that right now too. Later though, there's a lot of reasons that Columbus is so understated and people don't, and they look over it, but there really are a lot of strong points. What's the biggest shit you can talk about Columbus? Our biggest thing you talk about Columbus negatively, however you pronounce it, is nowhere near the biggest stuff you can talk bad about other major cities. I mean, our problems here in Columbus are
Just gets
nowhere.
cold.
Yeah,
It just gets
people
cold.
bitch about the cold. Okay, you know what?
It doesn't get cold.
Suck
Live
it
in
up.
Chicago.
Yeah. Look at Alaska. Look at like whatever. I mean, there's so many things, and the biggest negative stuff you can say about Columbus does not compare to the biggest cities.
So, all right,
I don't think.
I'll add a couple things. So, Chicago has water. So, in the summer, at least you can go on Lake Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
The beach is packed, right? The
Yep.
yachts are just lined up.
The playpen.
We don't have that here.
We got Buckeye Lake. Just kidding.
Well,
hey, we have.
but-
What's
but-
your favorite island?
Key West.
Second. Go ahead. You don't
not
want
in Ohio.
You're thinking Put-in Bay. This guy loves Put-in Bay. You can profess your love for Put-in Bay. Me, I hate Put-in Bay. I do not like
fun.
Put-in Bay.
It's because you're not white, and
Bobby, you don't like country music.
I love country music. Yeehaw!
Hip hop music there too.
I know that one song. Yeehaw! Yeah, I can't think of it, but I'm stopping my lip.
No.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It
called
don't
country
break
style.
my heart, my icky bricky heart.
Oh my
That song. That's a good country song.
So bad.
That's country. Or no, that don't impress me much. Don't no.
I don't know that.
Just
Shania Twain.
Yeah, see, I know country.
Bobby's on that old school. He's showing his age.
Oh.
But I mean, there's a couple of drawbacks for sure. But for the most part, it's like I feel as if like for instance, we lost a house seat, or I'm sorry, not a house seat. In the presidential election, we're actually losing a delegate. So we're kind of cannibalizing all these small towns like Marion, and that's where you have $20,000 houses, $40,000 houses in these small towns. But where are all these kids going? They're coming to Columbus.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have all of these people moving here.
until
What?
they have babies, and mom and dad still live in Marion, and it's super affordable, and we're now, thanks to COVID, allowing people to work remotely, and now they can buy.
That's shifting now though too.
Does that happen?
Not yet. It's gonna happen because my house that I bought in 21 has increased by 300,000 in a couple of years in value. I can absolutely sell my house right now. My wife will not let me. She will murder me. But
does your appraiser say it does? Did you put in enough work for the appraiser to say that it went up $300,000, even though you bought it at a steal and appraisers know what they're talking about? All the 100% of the. Okay, I'm done about that.
Bobby's a little mad about his appraisal on his personal residence right now. He's a little upset. I would be upset too, but
And you know what? Another appraiser told me we were right, so I don't feel crazy anymore.
But again, that being said, that hockey stick is already happening in Columbus.
Oh, you
but
think
just
so?
not to anywhere that didn't breed that it's happened in Boise.
It's like a short person's
Salt
hockey
Lake
stick.
City,
The kids'
some of these
hockey
other- these western markets, southern markets.
It's gonna continue though
But
because
there's nowhere in the Midwest that's like Columbus.
No, there's
Nashville is the only thing even close. That's not even Midwest.
right.
Chicago's losing people.
Yes. Well, that's because leadership and crime.
And their airport sucks.
Which one?
The one that we're stuck at with
Yeah.
that long bar and the food sucked. And,
Yeah, it was pretty crappy food.
But
and they don't have an Amex lounge.
I'm sorry, I had nothing to do with it.
Yes, you did.
But no, I mean, like, we are going to have a deficiency of not only housing but $1 to $3 million homes in the short.
Oh, you think that's the range, really?
Oh, I think 1 to 3.
You think deficient?
So?
Okay.
Well, who
So-
can afford those, though? Do we have enough people that can afford those now, in your opinion?
Not at 7-8%.
We have. They're not getting loans. There's so much money in this town.
So you're seeing people actually just paying cash.
Absolutely.
So I always wondered about that. If there's like two separate economies where there's like, very wealthy people that are, they're just sitting on cash they don't know what to do with. And they're like, oh, I'll just pay cash for my home and then stick my equity there until things get better. Or if like everyone's kind of feeling the pinch.
I sold a house I think 3-4 weeks ago, 1.1 cash. They had $1 million house that was paid off, and they had 3 other houses that they were in process. One was in Florida, and 2 were family houses. Like there's,
We do have a lot of untapped and like a lot of old money here in Columbus too.
and this
I don't know
isn't
about.
somebody that I know of. Like, oh, that's the
That's the
CFO of
sense. Yeah.
and like that's not like that's just a dude.
It's just a dude.
He's just a dude, and he was like, yeah, all right, well, we'll pay 1.1. Then I'm like, okay, I'll write it up.
You allowed to say what neighborhood?
It was in my neighborhood,
Okay, got it. That's
which
pretty
is
sweet.
which is
And honestly, like your neighbor's like it's not even a price. Like it's a very, very nice neighborhood, and it's still a decent place we can live and have a country club.
and that is why I'm saying we've got a deficiency of 1 to 3 million. So when I started at New Albany Realty back in 2013, I remember we were building homes that were 6 and 7 and 800,000, all in sticks, bricks, land, the whole thing. That puts you in the cheap seats in New Albany now. That puts you in the, no offense, like MI, like house, like it was shot out of a t-shirt cannon, like, and
Literally shitting on the American dream right now.
and now those houses that were 800 to 1.2 in the country club are now selling for, 1.7 to 3 million. A house just closed on Fenway
Fenway,
2 weeks ago for $3 million. And the houses that were built in the Fenway neighborhood were built in the 90s. They all have casement window, wooden windows and trim, like all that shit.
You
is
sent
like,
me one during COVID, which was like 675 or 700,000. I remember in that area.
I
Needed work, but
that's the thing, is like they're all, compartmentalized. There's a study and a den and a whatever, and now everybody wants wide open. So, like, those compartmentalized big McMansions that needed all this work are now, and I assume, and I know that I saw the house. I mean, for $3 million, you knocked down walls and you opened it up and you updated it. But like, that's bonkers. $3 million in Columbus, Ohio.
dude, even in our neighborhood, and like, it's nuts. And we don't even have
So,
there's
like, I think it's real. I think the demand for, and like, but what's being developed right now?
what is?
The Breda Homes as it
still have that?
as it used to be is gone. Now they do caravans, and it's become a production parade. So it's and I'm not shitting on anyone, but it's Pulte, it's MI.
Well, you're farting on them.
Well, whatever. It's but it's DR Horton, and it's the t-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
Like and wouldn't you, if you bought a farm and you're like, okay, I could build 10 houses or 25 houses. Which one are you?
I'm building 25.
Right, exactly.
Well, like, I mean, even like where I'm at, I mean, I don't want to disclose where I live, but it is a very high price per square foot neighborhood. So we live.
Now what the appraiser said.
Yeah. Your appraiser.
Stupid
But anyway,
appraiser.
no, I mean like it. But it's all on what you want too, right? I mean, you have some people just hell bent on location. You have some people that's just hell bent on space, and
But you know what? In Columbus, we have options. You can also go
options.
somewhere and have one of those, have whatever custom, and still be able to afford. And that's the best part about Columbus too, I think.
What's to wrap this up, man? What's next for you? What's on your horizon? 2024 is coming up.
And give us a little status of the real estate agents outlook.
Personally, systems and processes is me personally, systematizing my business, because I've gotten busier and busier year over year over year, and I'm only one dude with so many resources, so I want to make sure that I'm disclosing everything to everybody so that they know the process. If you just fly by the seat of your pants, you might forget to mention something.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that whether or not the client may or may not know, I want to make sure they know. I don't want to talk down to them, but I want to just go, hey, listen, this is how this works. And that's what the Sitzer Burnett thing all came down to, was, if you don't know, this guy hired an agent that didn't tell him everything as he should have. The guy put his house on the market. I'm just shooting from the hip here, and he got his ass kicked in, inspection, remedy, had to fix all of this stuff. They beat him up on price. They beat him up on this, beat him up on
Talking
that.
about me right now.
And then they got to the closing table.
It's definitely Bobby. He's a terrible negotiator.
And they got to the closing table, and the guy goes, "Wait a second, I'm paying that motherfucker's commission. So I'm paying that guy to beat up on me." And that's what the whole lawsuit is about.
So I'm paying him 3%, even though he talked me down and made us do all this and that.
That's correct. And that's what that lawsuit is all about. And if the agent had said, listen, you're paying me X%, and I'm taking that. That's the percentage that we've discussed, and I'm going to split that with the other agent for them to bring us the buyer, regardless of negotiation or whatever. We're offering that because that's what we need to offer them to bring them.
And the thing is based on the market, whether it's a seller's or a buyer's market, those particular agents become more valuable. So you can't just say, oh, it's just listing agents and then no buyer's agents, or you can't say, oh, all buyer's agents and then no listing agents, because the market ebb and flows.
And that's where I come back around to where I said the market will tell us who's right. The market will tell us whether we need those buyer's agents or we don't. And I do 75% listings, so I'm if they start offering no co-op and buyer's agents kind of go by the wayside, now people are just coming to me and going, well, we like this house that you have listed. And I go, okay, well, let me tell you about it. And then what do you want to offer? I represent the seller. Nobody represents you.
Yeah.
So you have no advocate. You have no, and if you're a first-time home buyer, or you don't do this very often, which most people don't, you don't have anyone to advocate for you. And that's a shame. And that's what all of this crap is doing, is trying to, go, well, we don't have to offer buyer co-op. Well, who's going to advocate for the buyers that don't know what they're doing, that don't know that the price per square foot in this neighborhood is X? They just see that it's, fresh paint, new carpet, and looks great, and the seller's agent is like, yeah, the price is what the price is. You don't like it? Fucking beat it. And so that's where it's crappy, but the market will definitely.
I guess agents aren't dead then.
Maybe not.
Whoever said that, you proved them wrong.
What so next for you is just basically systemization, delegation, right?
Try, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
you using any virtual assistants?
I do.
Nice.
I have an assistant. He is he's in the Philippines, and he's great.
Nice.
He's,
awesome.
we talk every morning, and we kind of he manages my database. He doesn't do any calls for me.
Yeah.
But you know, he's kind of keeps my schedule in line, whatever. And then I have a transaction coordinator,
The organizer. Yeah.
yeah. And then I have a transaction coordinator, and she's amazing, and she makes sure that all my paperwork is in order. I've got a great designer and staging team. You know, shout out to Brooke Lawrence. She stages.
She is awesome.
And she comes in, or either me or her or one of her team does a quick video of the property, and she's just masterful in making the space look amazing. And then you know, photography and video team come in after that. So I bought a Matterport camera in March of 2020. I don't know if it's as necessary as it was in 2020, but
There was we actually met a company
They talk about that. Yeah.
that
It's a little
long
cube.
story short, it's like you take your cell phone and it gives you this cue that links up with it.
No, it's this cube you buy for $179 or 200 some bucks, and you
Yeah,
put it on a
whatever.
tripod in
And
each
it goes
room.
in each room, and it basically lets you know what
Scans everything.
is in the room. It's model numbers, SKU numbers, if it was before a certain.
If it
date,
needs
you
work
can't
and a scope will
recognize
work too.
it. Like
everything.
It builds a scope of work is wild.
It has thermal now too, which doesn't matter to us. Probably if you have a big apartment complex, if you're losing heat in one of them or not, or like it's crazy.
And
You
that's
got
where-
some pest control.
Yeah.
this is where technology is just, you know, making the game,
Yeah.
you know, change.
Piece of advice for new agents coming in that are coming to the market to survive the market and not be dead. What do you think? Because
Get a mentor, join a team, and show up.
and pick up the phone and call people.
Well, that's part of it. But like, yeah, I mean, show up.
Stay in, get a mentor, make sure that the people that you are surrounding yourself with are doing good stuff, right? And just make sure to not quit.
That's right.
Love it, man.
mean-
Well, dude, I appreciate you being on today, man.
Hey, thanks,
I
man.
really do. Looking forward to you being on Scalers Only on our weekly phone call that we have
Oh.
every single week.
How do people reach you?
I am at Ginson Speich on every platform. That is at GINSONSPEICH. When your name is that unique, it's pretty easy to get it.
I got Gmail, I got the Yahoo, I got the AOL.
You got Spotify? Do you have a Spotify yet? Because you're a drummer and you play music too.
I don't know if I have Spotify. I have SoundCloud and Twitch.
These both play drums, both these people.
Yeah.
He's like the only person that can out drum you while out drinking you on bourbon and scotch. I think we've ever known.
I don't even want to take him up on
Let's
that.
do it. Let's do it. Let's
While
do it.
standing. No, Reed, that's awesome. Thank you
Appreciate
so much,
you,
man.
man.
I appreciate
I
your
appreciate
time.
you.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in to the Scalers Only Show, where we talk real estate business, lifestyle, and everything in between. My man Ginson, look him up, hit him up. And until next time, peace.